Hello everybody. I hope every one of you is well and ready to share our understanding about business together. In our first talk, I give an introduction about what a business model is. Based on some feedbacks, I want to expand my conversation to business model and talk a little bit more about it. I hope you enjoy it. If you are a firm, you have some products to offer to your customer segment. Of course, in case of a startup, this is one or limited number of products, and in an established company or in an incumbent one, you have a lot of or range of products that you offer to a lot of customers. And this is one difference between a company and a startup. If you are a single project company, you are called startup, and if you have a lot of them, you are an incumbent or established company. And the aim of startups is to become an established or incumbent one, because after you have a lot of customers, you know them, you know how to communicate together, then okay, you have many things to offer to them. In case of a firm, there is a logic on your company. You have to have a logic in your business. It means that you have a logic on your provisioning side, and you have a logic in your receiving side, which is your customer. And a logic connects these two together, which is economy. Okay, let's come to the provisioning side or back end side. You have some resources that might be physical, human, intellectual, whatever. Sometimes you have a license that others don't have. So it's a resource for you. In some economies, like Middle Eastern countries, if you have a license, it means that you have a barrier to enter against your competitors, because the market is not open and it's not possible for everybody to enter it. So depending on the context, a resource might be differs from one country to another one. Okay? Then you define some activities for yourself and you master some of the activities, and if you apply these activities on your resources, you can change them to a value that is offered to your customer. Sometimes you have some value to propose, but it's not possible solely based on your resources or your activities to create this value and offer it to your customer. It means that you need some partners to help you in this regard. Some partners provide you some resources or give you some activities that together it is possible to offer the value to your customer side. What about the front side of it? You have a value proposition. You need to communicate it to your customer. You need to make your customer aware of this value. You need to make it you need to provide something for your customer to evaluate your product or service and maybe compare it to other competitors. Then it should be accessible for him. It means that you need to transfer it to him or her or whatever possible that this value is accessible to your customer side. Then you need to provide a channel for him or her to pay for you. And channel in a business model canvas is a way that you connect your customer segment. It's very important. We are not looking at customer as a whole. Every segment should be taken care and should be accessed via its own channel. We'll talk about it a little bit later. And you have customer relationship. In customer relationship, you provide a means for your customer or customer segment that he or she connects to you. Every segment differs with another, or in an ideal form it should be. Otherwise, they are mixed and some problems will happen in later stages. So you need to provide some means for your customer segment to connect to you. He might have some complaints, or you might need to provide some facilities for him, a profile and everything that keep him. Pay attention. The goal of having a customer relationship is to keep him. Otherwise, your competitors come and take him from you. So be aware. You need to provide everything which is possible that everyone who connects to you somehow, in every stage, in every level, you need to provide him with a means that justify him or made it interested for him to come back again. If she or she buys something from you, he or she enjoys so much that come back again to you, not to your competitor. Okay, so we have a back-end side and we have a front-end side. And the transaction between these two should be economically viable. Otherwise, you provide something, you pay for your resources, for your activities, even to your partners, and now you need to make it justifiable from economy point of view. So the economy, cost structure, and revenue stream should justify this transaction between these two sides. If you want to define a business model, based on my understanding, after I studied some books and get some experience about this, what I get from it is the logic of business. Okay, but pay attention. Notice some points. Business model, just like any other tools, have a scope. It means that it can do something, but it cannot do the other part of it. Okay, what business can do? Business model can tell you the logic of your business. If you check every business with this business model, you can assure yourself or your listener, the person who asks you questions regarding this, you can assure him that if required elements of of this business is gathered and nothing is lost. So you can judge about a business. But it's a snapshot of a business depending on when you are evaluating it. Time is not included in business model. That's why sometimes you have a as-is business model, and at the other time you are designing a to-be. It has its own way. It has some stages. We'll talk about it later. But pay attention, time is not included in business model. The other thing, business model don't teach you how to compete in the market. Answer to this question is to the science of strategy. After you evaluate the market, you might have some recommendations how to change in order to be on the market and compete successfully. Then this answer is transferred to your business. Now the element of business model should be balanced against this new interruption. All of these 9 elements should be in proportion against each other. After a new entry is entered to the business model, so the balance between these 9 elements is changed. So you need to rebalance it. You might need to put more attention, put more emphasis on your customer relationship. Why? Because you understand that other competitors are now on the market and new service and products is offered at the same time. In order to keep these customer segments, you need to put more emphasis on your customer relationship. Or you might need to provide more access to your customer segments. Why? Because other competitors do the same. So the translation of a strategy or information about business environment is translated into elements of business model. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I'm waiting to understand if you agree with me, have some comments, then we can make discussion together. I hope that this is useful for you. See you later again. Have a nice time.